Okay. Hello, hello, hello.
Okay.
All right.
Get set. All right, there we go. Hmm. Yeah.
What's up, man?
I can't hear you.
You can't? Uh-oh.
Can you hear
Uh,
me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear. You're on mute.
Let's try this. Mm, I can hear me. You can hear me. How about we try this real quick? One sec. Uh,
Uh,
how about?
nope. You
Can you
still.
hear me if you go there?
If I go there, I'm gonna lose.
Oh, you on the phone?
Um.
See?
Let me check to see what it looks like on YouTube.
Yeah, because I can hear.
Oh yeah, I can hear you on YouTube.
Cool, cool. All right. Yeah, it's kind of funny like that.
Oh,
So,
now it's a delay. All right. Uh.
but
I heard you last time via Zoom. So. Want me to log out and log back in?
no, I don't. I really think that there are some gremlins out there that are trying to shut
Yeah,
this
so
down.
weird. Your icon on Zoom is on mute.
I know, I've
I'm
been
gonna
messing
log
with
out
that.
and log back in and see if that solves it because I can't be on YouTube because it's like a minute lag.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
All right, hold
I can read lips a little bit from all
up.
my Secret Service training, but
Right.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna leave and then come back.
All right.
Yep.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Still shows you on mute. Zoom shows you on mute.
Yeah. Try that other one. So let's switch over to that. So
That's weird. Are you unmuted on Zoom, the app?
there are some glitches with Zoom, but let's try StreamYard. Just going straight through StreamYard.
Yeah, I can't.
I
If
sent
I
the
had
link.
my computer, it probably work. But if I talk now and if I go on YouTube, it'll be like a whole minute delay.
No. I'm saying the same way that I send an invite.
Yeah, I can't hear you. I'm reading your lips.
Let's say. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have StreamYard, so I may need to
Mhm.
do I have to get the
Yes. You can hear me? Aha. Hold on now. Now see, now we're doing funny stuff now. I gotta stop the Zoom. Okay, so we'll just leave the Zoom to be zooming and do whatever. But now let's check out, how do I look on the YouTube? Now let me add you to the stage. Haha. See? Look at that. All right. Oh wow. So since it's just the two of us, this works out perfectly. Um right, right. All right. After much trials and tribulations, good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Peters. I'm the founder and director of Progress for All, 501c3 nonprofit devoted to voter education on ballot issues. We also do voter registration as well. If you go to www.pfa.global, you will see a list of information for each and every state and territory in the United States on how to register for your local election upcoming. And with me is Darian Doc Wheeler. He is the uh, president and CEO of Media Covenant LLC, but he's also a board member on the board of directors for Progress for All, along with myself. And we have been doing a series of monthly uh, town hall events. We've been sending an invitation out to different folks to ask questions, and we had great participation first round out with people from Arlington County, NAACP, in Arlington County, Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia, NAACP, Theta Lambda chapter, Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, my fraternities chapter, as well as the Phi Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And we have done great things since then. The first town hall, which is general issues surrounding Black male voters. The second one was more focused on re-entry and re-enfranchisement. And this current town hall we're doing tonight, we are focused on the issue of gun control, gun safety. We were originally going to do that later. We were going to do affordable housing next and then deal with gun safety. But in light of recent events, we've decided to move it up. We all are aware of the issues in this country with the number of active shooter events that have occurred and the number of incidents, excessive force and deadly force incidents involving police and citizens, particularly citizens of color, particularly citizens who are Black folk, particularly Black men. And so we wanted to talk about this, not just from that perspective that we want to have, let's say, more sensible gun safety laws, well, not necessarily a complete ban on all weapons like you may have in other countries. That's something that we definitely want people to debate and come to an equitable and an amicable solution at a later date. But for right now, it seems like when we had the assault weapons ban in place, there were fewer active shooter incidents. But beyond that, if we did something to address this culture, this gun culture that we have in this country, and to address mental health issues, we don't want to go off of the universal health care, mental and dental, and all like that, but just addressing mental health issues and preventing people who shouldn't have guns in their hands at all from having them. That's something we need to talk about. But it's a very, very, very difficult, challenging issue because think about what just happened in Illinois with Sonia Massey. Do you remember that, Doc? Right. She called 911 because she did not feel safe. And we could tell from some of the ways that she was talking to the officers that I guess you could say that she's somebody who was saved, because there was a moment when she was cooking or doing something on the stove with some hot water, and the officers got a little bit aggro and was like, "You need to put that pot down." And she's like, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And the officer took that as apparently too much sass, and he went overboard and said, "You better not. I'm going to shoot you in the effing face." And ended up doing so. But then you wind it back a couple months. We had an incident in Florida with an airman named Roger Fortson, who is a legal gun owner, who got a knock on the door one afternoon and wasn't sure who it was. Come to find out, it was law enforcement checking up because allegedly there was some sort of domestic dispute. And he was immediately he answers the door. He was FaceTiming with his girlfriend and his mom with his phone in one hand, but he also had his firearm out in the other because he wasn't sure what was going on. So he opens the door up and he's immediately ordered to drop his weapon. But before he could even comply, shots were fired and he got taken out. And he was one of those people that you can't dig through his record and do a deep dive and say, "Oh, he's got this," or "He was doing drugs." No, he was active duty in the Air Force. Wasn't doing nothing bad to nobody. He was on the track to be like one of those rising stars, one of those people that you read about in the paper doing good things, and they cut him off. So it's a situation where it really is difficult to figure out what to do. Al Sharpton once said, "We got to watch out for the robbers and the cops." So you got to watch out for people who are not well, or people who have an agenda, who have access to firearms, and they act on that agenda. And then you also have people who have legal access to firearms as part of their job, and we don't know whether they're acting on an agenda or an implicit bias or what have you. And then you have July 13th, where it almost feels like chickens coming home to roost, where you have an individual at a rally who has used a lot of very incendiary rhetoric in the past and ends up nearly getting assassinated by a member of his own party, a member of his own group was beyond his team. So there's all these complexities that are swirling around, and what does this mean for us as Black men and the types of decisions we have to make at the ballot box? And I did drop some links to you in the chat, and I actually posted on the video if anybody else wants to click later and read through some of the articles I've been reading. So what are your thoughts with all of this going on? Hmm. Right. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Right. Hmm. That's one thing though, is that from the other officer's webcam, you could see how the shooter was starting to rationalize and say, "Well, I'm not going to get any hot water in my face thrown in my head." What I recall from watching that video is that the shooter drew his weapon, pointed aggressively, saying, "Right." She had put the pot down. She wasn't trying to throw it on anybody. Mhm. She, She had her hands up, she's like, "I'm sorry," and she crouched down, and then the officer with the webcam on also drew his weapon, and so they were both screaming at her at the same time. Down to the ground and drop the pot down. But she was already in a prone position, unarmed, no weapon, no water, and shots were fired. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You need a lot of hot water. Mm-hmm. As an aside, Nat Turner was boiled to death and turned into grease. So that was a lot. That's about how much hot water you need. You need to dip somebody in. But go ahead. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, you dropped. Oh, trying to get again. Are you there? You dropped. Oh, shoot. Dang. Come on back. Mhm. Yeah. Do. While we are waiting, what can we do? Do. We can read through things. Try to present this tab. And share screen. So, Brookings. All right. Drop. Come back. That's Brookings. All right. Yeah. Yeah, man. Okay. Do. Ooh. It's not good when your phone overheats. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
All
Can you
right.
hear me?
Yeah, I can
So,
hear you.
that was actually a demonstration, unintended and unintentional. So, I have my phone sitting on the screen in my car, and the screen is actually hot. So
Ooh.
my phone got hot. It also coincides with the topic of hot and water and shutting down. So, um, coincidence? No, I don't think so. It's kind of crazy. So, But no, just as my phone shut down because it was hot, I was able to cool it down, and now we're back. I again circumstantial. I just think cooler heads should have prevailed at that. Someone lost their life. That was a mother,
Yeah.
sister, brother. Sorry, mother, sister, aunt, and child of someone. I don't know the mental state, and again, we've seen that also, how to handle people in that condition or in that state. But to your point, the position that she was in when the gun was fired, it wasn't in a threatening position.
Right.
I also look at the distance of of the
Just point
victim,
blank.
very point blank. But I don't think she was very. Oh crap! Hold on one second. Gosh,
Okay.
hold on.
So yes, it was point blank range. And one thing that I noticed is that I actually saw shades of Sandra Bland incident where you had some egos butting up against each other. And when they were doing that, the ego with the gun wanted to be more dominant. And that being said, wanted to take control of the situation. I'll wait for Doc to come back before I run my mouth anymore. It's all good. It's all good. So I was just talking. I was saying, can you hear me? That it felt. it's, it's all good, man. It that I saw shades of Sandra Bland in that incident, this most recent incident with Sonia Massey. That you got two egos that are kind of butting up against each other. In the case of Sandra Bland, she didn't want to be there. She got pulled over. But in this case, calling somebody into my home because I don't feel safe. And then the interaction went on a little bit longer than I expected, and I started to get exasperated. And so as I'm getting a little bit irritated, like, yeah, time to go, they're getting more irritated as well. And uh-oh, drop. Let me see here. So I can see you on Zoom, and I gotta get back on. I don't know if there is an app. Oh, for real? Okay. Man, I need to get that myself. But but while you download the app in the background, yeah, it's kind of like whether you're talking about Sandra Bland or you're talking about Sonia Massey. In both incidents, the officer seemed to get irritated that th- this this person doesn't have any act right in them. If you get what I'm saying, that hmm Hmm. Right. Okay, question for you. Couple questions, but one by one. How do you think it would have played out if Sonia Massey had a firearm, even though she called police, said she didn't feel safe, and she's like, I got my gun out just in case because I wasn't sure when y'all was going to arrive. How do you think that would have played out? Mm. Mhm. And they think she's the intruder, or would they? That's my next question. Would they see the intruder? Right. Mm-hmm. Philando Castile. Mm-hmm. You start to. Mhm. Right. Right. But see, go ahead, go ahead. That leads into my next question. What if Sonia Massey were Sylvester Massey? What if it were a dude instead of a lady? How would it play out? Taking it back to, black male voter outreach in our town hall topic of gun control for black men. Mhm. Right. But yeah, 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 yeah. But it for me, it kind of it gets to what you were saying before about neighborhoods, credit scores. That I think it's maybe a little bit more than a neighborhood and a credit score. But when dealing with certain populations where the environment lends itself to the officer feeling a little bit less aggro, then perhaps they're less likely to escalate up the force continuum, and we end up with that excessive force, deadly force incident, something like this. And by saying certain populations, it could be populations in a particular neighborhood with a particular credit score. It could be populations with a particular demographic, particular ethnicity, and, or yes, a particular race. Right. Mhm. Okay. So I'm going to go to another scenario. So you remember way back, about 20 years ago, 22 years ago, we had the Beltway sniper. Do you recall that? John Lee Malvo and John Allen Muhammad, and everybody was thinking it was like an old white man in a beat up white van running around shooting people, as opposed to right. So now take it forward to July 13th. What if the shooter on the rooftop at uh, the Trump event, yeah, the shooter at the rooftop in Pennsylvania, uh, were a black man, and how that info? Go ahead, hard to fathom. Mm. Th- hmm. So you're saying that as a resident amongst that particular population, as an African American resident amongst that particular population, you wouldn't really have the opportunity to gain access to that type of weapon, much less get access to that space. Yeah. Hmm. Mm. It almost sounds like. Go ahead. I just, it almost sounds like you're saying that even if he managed to get a weapon, even if he managed to get close enough to the Vinny to the space to be able to climb up on that building, as people were filming with their phones, and they're saying, like, they're pointing out to, like, either law enforcement or somebody else in the crowd, hey, there's a guy up there, I don't think he's supposed to be up there. Would they feel emboldened to actually go up and try and pull him down themselves? Would they feel deputized? They would just unite like Voltron and, yeah, hold my beer. Hmm. Yep. Hmm. He. Hmm. His name is Corey Comparatore. That was the firefighter that killed. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. I mean, I've seen him, and I had to look up his name real quick, but they made mention. But yeah, the primary emphasis is on the person that the Secret Service had a challenge to protect, and that's why the Secret Service director has resigned. Mm. Mm. Yeah, but what? See, the That see what I've heard something different. You know what I you're yeah. They should be there to protect everyone. They coordinate with law enforcement, local law enforcement, to serve and protect. But Secret Service, their primary goal is to protect the quote unquote more important person. You know. Well, that's why they took him out as soon as they were able. Mhm. 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 You know, I Mhm. I heard 4 shots, and then I heard a return fire of like 5, 6, 7 shots. That's how it sounded to me. I mean, I could be in error because I mean, we've seen this thing a couple of times on YouTube. As opposed to actually being there and being able to hear directions that shots are coming from and whatnot. But yeah. Mhm. Mm, mm. So going back to that idea of being in your own home, in your castle, and being cuffed up because somebody has to exercise authority over the situation, over you and the situation. That has to, on some level, feel very emasculating. You know, like it's taking your manhood away in a country that is continually working on from a black male voter outreach, black males, and diminishing them in many different ways, micro and macro aggression. Probably 2025, they make it happen all. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. Yeah. Right, right, right. Hmm. Right, 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 right. Well, on that note, we've gone over about 9 minutes or so, but it's definitely an important conversation to have. We should probably loop back to this again and talk about it. But yeah, man. Until next time, appreciate you joining us. Right, Sherlock Jones. It's all good. All right, all right. Appreciate you. Take care. Have a good day. Good night, everybody.